Howdy. Reese from the Point Music News here for another tasty podcast. Very, very stoked for this one. I haven't caught up with my mate Kudos for too long. And the dude is an absolute legend. Very, very talented MC, hip-hop artist, and poet as well. I've always admired his more philosophical take in his lyrics, which, yeah. If you haven't heard his stuff before, I'll put the link in this video anyway. And basically, I stuffed up this week and thought I had something planned. I didn't, and he jumped on straight away when I asked him to. So I hope you really enjoy this one. Kudos is down in Melbourne right now, so he's right in the middle of lockdown. So he didn't have any problem with jumping on for this because he couldn't go anywhere anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kudos. Rocking and rolling. Hello, Kudos, my old friend.
Hey.
How you doing in lockdown in Melbourne, dude?
It's fucking polarizing. Yeah, it's getting a bit hectic out here. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing fine. I'm pretty blessed. You know, I don't have kids, mortgage. I've got a job. I already work from home. It's, you know, I'm pretty lucky, but it's, you know, it's a bit crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching some of my Melbourne friends and bands that are down there that are originally from up here, and they're kind of struggling a bit. So yeah, I can imagine. I mean, we've got the freedom right now, but
Yeah.
don't.
Oh, if you're a full-time musician, it'd be so bad, so bad. Yeah.
How come you didn't come back up here before lockdown?
I actually was there. I came here. Yeah. Dude, I was here for a wedding.
Yeah.
And I'd just come back from, you know, because I've been living in Malaysia for 2 years, and I'd just come back and had decided to stay. And then I was here for a wedding, and I was like, oh man, I really miss Melbourne, because, you know, I come back and I'm going to all the gigs, I'm doing all the jam nights, and I'm seeing all my mates, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to move back. And then I was in a sublet for about a month looking for a spot, and the moment I found my spot, lockdown hit, and I was like, oh, this is like a real thing. But luckily I've got two really good housemates who I didn't know before lockdown, and we all get along really well. So that was super lucky.
That's damn lucky.
And the front door of my house is a huge park, and then across the street from that another park, and across the street from that another park.
So you can exercise there. It's fine. It's all good.
I'm pretty lucky. Like, I think as it goes, I've hit a very lucky spot. Like, it sucks, but at the same time, I'm doing all right.
Because you got another week to go, or was it supposed to be this weekend?
I mean, they don't know. They're saying that this Sunday they tell us like what the plan is, but at the end of the day, they don't know. Yeah.
Fucking
we'll see, man. We've been in it for like 9 weeks, I think, or 8 weeks or something.
Something crazy like that. Whereas we're getting the sunshine and going to the beach and shit.
Yeah, I kind of wish I was on the sunny coast, because everyone in Melbourne right now is like, Melbourne's not Melbourne. Like,
no, it'd be a ghost town, dude.
I left the sunny coast because there weren't enough venues and infrastructure in Melbourne, and I'm like, you know, without the infrastructure, fuck, I might as well be by the beach. Like, I could, like, you know. Anyway, it is what it is.
Exactly. Now we're gonna get this out of the way because you've got a new song, and it's fucking cool because it's different to what you've done previously. You may disagree with me, but man, I was backtracking through your back catalogue tonight at the gym, just listened to it, and Ideas, man, is that's dark. I don't know if the tonality of it's like the actual tonality of it's dark, but I don't know if the message is dark in it. But it's definitely one of your darkest ones I think I've heard you do.
Yeah, the tone of it's pretty dark. Well, I haven't actually said it. I haven't told anyone this yet, but I've been meaning to start talking about it. But basically, I'm putting an A side, B side out.
Cool.
At the end of the year. That's what I'm working towards. So one's going to be called Happy is Cool.
Yep.
And it's going to have a bunch of like funk and sort of upbeat songs. They're all pretty deep songs still, but they're just a bit more upbeat. And then the other one's going to be called Behind the Smile. And that's what like Ideas will be off. So it's a sort of split between the dark and the light that I'm going to be putting out soon.
That's actually kind of cool. Barefoot's doing the same sort of thing though. Because with the album, we're actually doing a side A and a side B. And side A is all the dark, dubby sort of stuff, and side B is all the beachy, happy, woo-hoo. Oh, and I've got you frozen. Yeah, gotcha. Gotcha. It's fucking freezing. I can see what you're doing with that. It's cool.
That's cool. It's not called Happy is Cool and Behind the Smile, is it?
No.
Like, holy shit, did I steal their idea somehow? I don't know.
No, I'm not allowed to divulge the actual title of the album.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
As long as it's not that.
It's definitely not that. It's definitely not that. But that's
Okay,
cool.
cool.
So I know that you've been actually working on beats and that sort of stuff yourself now. So
Yeah.
did you do the beats for this?
No, I
Okay.
didn't. I actually only started making beats during lockdown. So I did a 9-week course with my friend John Sned on like sort of Ableton beginners course.
Yeah.
And just bought, I mean, it's really been lockdown. I've just bought all this equipment. I actually bought a turntable and a mixer. So now I'm getting into scratching, which has been
Cool.
my new little hobby. Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm a ways off. I think I've got a few projects for after this that are already in the works. But one thing I would like to work towards is maybe making an album or an EP with all my beats, but I'll get someone else to do the mixing because there's just so much to learn.
Mixing's
I mean, as you know,
bitch,
I mean,
dude.
there's so much to learn. So at the moment, but I do like, I've been really enjoying learning how to just arrange because I think I've got a really good sense of how a beat can sort of go around my vocal and what I want to, make sort of stand out in my flow or a punchline or whatever. So yeah, so it's a slow process, but it's something I've been having fun with for sure.
When you're in your writing process, are you looking for a particular beat? Do you already have something, or do you already have something like written and you have a beat in the back of your mind and you just go, this is kind of the flow that I want to go with? Or do you basically have someone provide a beat and then you work around the flow of that?
Yeah, usually I write to a beat.
Right.
Sometimes I'll have something that I might have written to another beat that's not available anymore, and I'll chase someone up and I'll tell them a tempo and sort of like, what type of vibe it is, and we'll go from there. But I'd say 90%, maybe 95% of the time, I'm going through catalogs of producers' beats, and then I'm pulling up a beat I like and just going with it.
Sick. Are you still working with Liquid as well?
Yeah. He's well. I mean, we haven't been able to tour this year, so we haven't performed for. I mean, it's gonna be coming up to 2 years soon.
Shit.
So, yeah. But he's definitely my right hand man. Like he doesn't make my beats, though. He just performs with us live. So he sort of remixes them live on the turntables. Yeah.
Because the last time I saw you two actually perform together, that would have been at Home Festival.
Oh, such a good weekend.
Oh yeah, it was pretty. I was
that.
in and out for that one, but man,
Yeah, right. That's right. I got up with you guys as well there. That was man, I had a great weekend that weekend. Such a fun time.
It is actually like I'm not a fan of Bush Doofs, but I like Home.
Yeah,
and
same.
It's pity it's not going ahead anymore, but yeah, I used to actually really enjoy that kind of festival. I don't know why. I mean, like I said, I don't really do Bush Doofs. Earth Freak, I don't mind.
Because I don't like the big ones, but stuff like Home, I love it. Like at one stage, it's just chill. It feels like a bunch of friends camping out with a PA system.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a big camper as well.
Yeah, neither. I'm so with you on that.
Can't handle it, dude. I don't like being dirty. I just like, yep, I'm there. I'm done. And then come home, have a shower, and go to bed.
Yeah, we're kindred spirits, bro.
Oh, dude.
I agree with everything you're saying. Like I say to people, it's like I love partying and I love music, but I don't like doing it with camping. Like I want to go back to my bed afterwards.
Yeah.
I like camping as well, actually. I just don't like doing it when I'm partying. It's if it was just like, let's just go out to the bush and chill for a weekend, have a fire and chill. I'd be down for that. I don't do it a lot, but
yeah. I mean, I've been kind of spoiled now because Sheree, my wife, she's got a van, but even she's over van life. So it's just,
right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in my 40s now. I'm getting over that shit.
Yeah, right.
I'd rather sleep in a comfy bed.
Yeah,
That's
I feel you.
Basic, and have a good shower and know where I'm going, somewhere I could shit properly without being disturbed. I think that's basically it. Anyway, go back to ideas because I kind of want to know what the song's about.
So the story behind the song is basically, essentially it's a bar heavy hip hop track for hip hop heads, so it really is one of those songs where I just sort of went with the flow of it. Every line is kind of its own, has its own little meaning. So it'd be more the type of song where I'd be able to dissect line for line, then I'd be able to say what it's about, because it really is about my passion for rapping, which is just like standard sort of hip hop stuff. I was sitting in the back of like I say it in the chorus, I'm sitting in the back of a car, and I was sitting in an Uber going to the airport in Brisbane when I wrote the chorus. I was just listening to the beat. So many ideas came to my mind when I heard this beat for the very first time. I was just sitting in the back of a car looking out of the window as the world passed by, and that's exactly what was happening. And I wrote it because I was going to collaborate with some friends of mine from England, Too Many T's. It's like English hip hop duo. They're fucking awesome if you get a chance to check them. But I sent them the beat, and then they didn't get back to me. And then I ended up writing an entire song and was so excited about it. I was kind of like, oh, I hope they don't get back to me, because then I'll have to scrap the stuff I've written. And I was thinking, oh, if they don't get back to me, cool. Like, I'll just send them something else eventually. We could do something else. And they didn't get back to me because they were like doing a world tour at the time.
Oh,
so
right.
I assume they probably just forgot about it. But yeah, so that's basically how it came into tune.
It's kind of funny that you mentioned the whole like the British hip hop group, because there is I mean I'm not a massive hip hop head or anything like that, but I got a sort of a feeling, a grime sort of feeling from it when I first listened to it. Not like I can't even think of the freaking artist that I used to think of when it came to grime. Dizzy
Rascal. Yeah.
It's not that kind of grime, but it still had that. I went, okay, yeah, I can, because grime to me is dark.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why.
And I mean, it's a mix between, because I don't listen to a lot of grime, so with stuff like that, like when I hear it, I know it's grime, but I'd find it hard to. If someone said what defines grime, I probably wouldn't be able to explain it because I don't listen to it enough. But when I listen to that track, I would say the beat sounds kind of grimy. It also sounds kind of trap-like because it's got the 808 and the hi-hats.
Yeah.
But then the fast flow, and it definitely makes sense hearing it and feeling a sort of grime feel for it.
I was waiting for the cicada hats to come out, man. It's one of my main sort of bugbears with trap. I just can't handle the cicada hi-hats. And
right.
Yours,
are they in there? I don't.
Yeah, they're very minimal, dude.
Right.
And so like, please don't do trap hats. And he's like, yes, it's cool. All right, yeah, I'm fucking sweet with this one. Yeah, man, dude, I don't do trap. Trap just
right.
It's like
trap's fun.
Yeah, I think it's the mumble element and the cicada hats that just piss me off. Yeah.
Look, if it's just a beat, I don't really like trap, but as a rapper, when I hear it, there's so much space to rap, and that's why I really like it. And you can also go half time and then double time really easily. You can just jump back between the two. It's that sort of 120 BPM.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I agree with you, but then at the same time, I really like rapping to it. Liquid's the same. Liquid hates trap. He's always making fun of me about it. But then we do a few trap tracks and he'd be like, oh, I like that. And I'm like, yeah, because it's actually got a lot of space to work with. It's just that it's so associated with people mumbling.
Yeah.
And this kind of rap music that people either love or hate. So the people that don't like it, they usually go, I don't like trap, when essentially they just don't really like the style of rap that they're hearing on the track. And also from a production view, it is a very simple beat a lot of the time. So without a rapper, but if you get a good rapper on it, it's usually pretty good.
I think it's more the actual frequency of the fucking hats that they've actually tuned it to, because it's just way too bright. And I mean, trap's basically worked its way into popular culture, and it's worked its way into rock as well. I mean, there's like Biffy Clyro, one of my favorite artists, Scottish three-piece. They're like alternative rock, but there's the last two albums. I know there's probably at least 2 or 3 tracks on each of those albums that actually have trap elements that come through there. It's got those hi-hats. Yeah, it just creeps in. Right. I don't know why. Maybe they really just like that sparseness of it, that whole because it's usually just almost like a one drop in reggae terms. For people that understand what a one drop in reggae is, it's basically just that one beat per 4 beats in one bar. So boom. Yeah, that's how I think of it anyway. And I can understand the freedom you would have with rapping over that though, because you could have that flexibility. But that's exactly it. For me, it's more about the tempo than it is really about the beat, because I could take like a trap, structure and put other drums on it, and I'd still really enjoy it for the same reason, which is just it's the space. Yeah, more freedom to move for you, man.
For sure.
I went back to listening to the rhythm as well, and I completely forgot about the little philosophical thing that you chucked on the end of it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I'm going to quote this. Which is basically right at the end. You say, when you look for an outcome, you're looking at the future, and it takes you away from the present. And maybe that's why not trying is the whole thing. When you're trying to do something now that's going to affect the future. But by not trying, the now becomes authentic, and by living authentically, the future will automatically be something quite good.
Yeah.
Did I nail that?
You did nail it.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
That's exactly what I said. It's weird hearing someone else say it.
Because that's that kind of thing is normally safe for like 2 o'clock in the morning after like a few spliffs and shit like that. But it took me a while to get my head around it, and I think I know where you're going with it.
I think it's interesting because I was listening to that the other day. I hadn't listened to that song in a long time, and I randomly pulled it up, and it's kind of I don't know how much I agree with it now, although I do like the idea of not trying. It's just getting in the moment. I mean, every musician's been in the zone where you're not really trying anymore and you're just in it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I'm getting at. But at the same time, in that where it's like, be authentic, it's kind of like when you say to people, oh, just be yourself. And it's like, well, what if you're a cunt? You know, what if you're a fuckwit? Like, oh, be yourself. But what if that person's, it's, you know, everyone's always like, be yourself. It's like, but what if you're a toxic maniac? You know, it's like, then probably maybe change who you are and try to work towards being someone more pleasant to be around, you know. So kind of, it's a nice idea, but the way I explain it in that bit, I think there's a lot of holes in it where it could sort of be a bit more picked apart. But I guess if I was going to, you know, retouch on that, it would be more just saying, yeah, it's really about being in the moment, and those moments where you're in total, you know, what people would call flow state, and you're not really trying anymore.
Yeah, what I got from it is basically not forcing something, letting something happen naturally.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
From a creative perspective, like right now, this whole COVID situation, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Melbourne or if you're like here on the sunny coast, that sort of stuff, we all, as musicians and creatives, are still limited by what we can and can't do. And I think it's actually a natural, forceful way of us looking into our own creative process and coming up with something that we probably wouldn't have the guts to actually come up with now, because we don't have to tour. We can't tour. We can literally do like a few shows locally, and that's basically it. And I am seeing some artists come up with some pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
That they probably wouldn't have done. They probably would have been safe and gone and done something else.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of forced innovation. And also, you know, if you push someone to a corner, you know, it's that flight, which can be really good creatively, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely forced me. I mean, I've, like you were saying about mixing before, and now you're not really ready for that. I mean, I've been teaching myself that whole process.
Yeah.
And mixing an entire album, which is brave and stupid at the same goddamn time.
It's a great idea.
Well, yeah, but then it's basically you don't know when it's done. And I've had this conversation with many artists that are actually in the same boat, and they just say it's never fucking done.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off because I like to know when something's done. So yeah, teaching yourself to mix, I don't recommend it if you're a perfectionist, because it's just a fucking open wound that won't heal.
Yeah, right. I've got lots of extremes about myself, but I'm not a perfectionist at all. Hey, it's been one I've been really lucky that I'm pretty good at pulling the trigger on projects. If anything, with mixing, I'm sort of the opposite problem. I made my first song, like made a beat, recorded it, like sort of did some mixing on it, and I was like, this is ready to go. I sent it to some friends, and they're like, dude.
It's like,
and all my friends that do mixing, they're like, no, this sounds really bad.
Well, at least they were honest and actually told you. Otherwise, instead of encouraging you, and just that's.
Well, to be fair, they didn't say it sounded really bad, but they just picked apart, like, you know, I like, for example, I did it before I learned what side chaining was, and now that I know what side chaining is, and now I can hear what the issue if you don't side chain, you know, the kick to the bass, and I'm going, oh, I didn't hear it before, but now I can. Yeah, I get what they're saying, and I'm sure there's a million other things that I wasn't doing that I haven't learned yet. The whole funny you mentioned sidechaining, because I actually only really properly learned how to do that in the last week. So it's a good one.
Okay, so people are going to sit there just going, "What the fuck is sidechaining?" All right, so the way I understand it and explain it is basically you're connecting the melody or the bass line in this case here with the kick drum, and basically I'm going to do my hand thing here. So you're got it's kind of like a gate, but not really. You got a compressor put onto the bass track, right? That compressor there is connected to the kick. So whenever the kick triggers, does that, this comes down. So it allows the kick to come through while still having that being forced, but not overpowering the kick. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, so like, I mean, without explaining what a compressor is, because obviously that's like a whole other thing. But yeah, if you imagine it as a volume, every time the kick comes in, the volume of the bass will go down.
Yeah.
It's not what it's doing, but basically that's what it feels like. So it goes down so that because they're on the same frequency, the kick drum will fill that space of the bass. So it doesn't sound like the bass is being cut off, but it just means two of the same frequency aren't hitting at the same time.
Yeah,
and it sounds really muddy.
And cancelling each other out.
Each other out, yeah.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get my head around fucking the whole explanation.
It's fucking great. Now that I hear it and I put it on, I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds so much better.
Yeah, but you can hear it in like, you can, now that you've trained your ear to hear that, you can actually hear that in like finished songs, like releases. And you can sit there and go, oh, okay, yeah, fuck. Yeah. That's the reason why the kick is actually pushing through that, and you're sitting there just keep on boosting the fucking EQ on the kick. No, fucking sidechain that sucker, and then you got it working. Sweet.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Oh man, you can go so far with that shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because I was staying in a hotel when I contacted you this morning, because it was my wife's birthday yesterday, so we went and stayed in Fancy Pants Hotel last night. And
nice.
I actually had your clip come up in my feed. I don't know if you put a sponsored post on ideas or something like that, and I just went, no, fuck. Because I had briefly heard it, but then basically it came up as a reminder. I went, and that's why I sent through that message to you. And then I got this whole flashback of the first time I actually saw you. And you probably don't even remember this, but I'm pretty sure you were underage at a Drop the Junk. And you guessed it on a... it would have to have been Lady Throat Killers. And I'm pretty sure you just came out of nowhere, had a fucking backpack on, and you pulled out a mirror, and you just started fucking...
I pulled out a mirror?
You had like a hand mirror, man. Seriously. And you just started doing this freestyle over the top of this. I'm just sitting there just going... Because I wasn't anything to... I had nothing to do with hip-hop at that stage. I just wanted to come see it.
Sorry, it's frozen again. Damn it.
Move around.
Wait.
Oh, yep.
Coming back. Ah, there you go. Yeah, cool.
It. Yeah. Well,
so I was doing a freestyle with a mirror.
Yeah, and I had never really experienced live hip hop before. So Drop the Junk at that stage was my first sort of like live hip hop thing, and I was sitting there. I already been blown away by like Lady Throat Killer, so like Mick Dog and Quiz.
Yeah.
And then this fucking kid comes out of nowhere, gets up on stage with his hoodie and a fucking backpack, and pulls out this mirror and starts doing this freestyle. I'm sitting there, what the fuck is going on? And I was just watching you just going ape shit with this thing, man. It was incredible. And that's my memory of you, dude, and it's still there. And you don't remember doing that?
I don't remember the mirror, but I remember the Drop the Junk fondly. I mean, I don't think I was underage. I think at that point, unless... Was that at the hotel?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then I wasn't underage. Yeah, so I do remember that because I lived with Mick Dog when I was 18.
All right.
When the first house I ever moved out to when I was like 18 or 19 years old, I lived with Mick Dog and Miss Carlina. So it was a little hip hop house. It would have been around then.
Baptism of fire in hip hop, that one.
Oh, bro, it was it was amazing. Mick was selling pizza. I worked at a video store, and Carlina like always had weed, and we just hung out, smoked weed, and fucking played shithead and freestyled all the time. It was... the first house is always a good one. Well, not always, but it's a fond memory, of just being free. And we lived right next to the beach in Perugian. We'd go to the Originals every day. But so I don't remember the mirror, although at the time it does sound like something I would have done because I loved being real psychedelic and weird. I remember I used to carry a flower on stage and I'd tap the flower on people's noses and shit. And so I do... I don't remember, but I do remember the Drop the Junks. They're amazing. I think I played it a bunch of them. They were so fun.
I do remember seeing you. Because I played one. I might have played two. But I do remember. I think I remember going to 4 of them, and I remember you being at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
But you definitely brought out a handheld vanity mirror, and you started like just rapping to yourself on stage. I looked around at other people. Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that kind of, actually. Yeah. That's weird. I don't know how I forgot that, actually. I do remember that.
It was the main thing was I looked around at other people and they're just sitting there just going, what the fuck is going on? And watching you Yeah, that was cool as fuck. I loved
I think I first took acid when I was like 17, and it triggered a lot of weird, like,
it.
yeah, yeah. It's funny. It's like I'm more creative now, but I was also more creative then in different ways, you know?
It's just evolution, though, isn't it? Of
Yeah.
an artist.
I think it was more about the outside, whereas now it's more about the inside. Like I care less about what I'm wearing and more about what I'm saying. Whereas back then it was like, it was a lot of like, you know, what do I look like? You know?
So, did you ever feel like you had something to prove, particularly because you're like jumping up with all your peers, doing that sort of shit? Maybe.
Probably not, because I was always pretty confident in my rap skill, but maybe just I I really liked being the weird guy. Like I remember I used to eat fruit on stage, just like kooky little things. I
Fucking
just
an
really,
apple. I remember you eating a fucking apple. Yeah.
I used to always eat apples on stage, and I just like doing weird little things that people go, "There's this guy, and he's like rapping, and he's eating a banana, and he's just acting like it's normal. He's not saying anything about it." Yeah, yeah, it was good times.
But that would actually be a bit of your dad coming through there, though. Surely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely influenced by my dad. Like, I always wanted to be him growing up, you know? He's a fucking dirty wizard, so.
um, because a lot of your upbringing was well, your hip hop influence was actually from your bro, right?
Yeah, yeah. So we both heard about hip hop at the same time, but my brother got really good at it really quickly. Like,
Yeah.
I was 12 and he was probably 14. And then, yeah, so because back then it was before Hilltop Hoods. So I always look at hip hop in Australia, as much as there was hip hop artists before Hilltop Hoods, but it was like, it was uncool. And then they came out and all of a sudden it was cool. And prior to that, it was all on forums, you know, internet forums, talking to Americans about like, what is hip hop and how do you rap? And my brother learned all of it and then just sort of passed it down to me. Yeah.
Yeah, because didn't you do no, yeah, because I'm trying to remember because he brought out an EP a couple of years ago. Babbitt, fuck, I was trying to think.
You talking Babbitt
Yeah,
in the group?
think so. Oh man, my memory's fucked with this.
Progressive Minds, because the group was Progressive Minds with me and my brother.
Could have been. I don't know. I just remember it being dope. And you're frozen again.
God, bloody internet.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah,
NBN for the win.
Yeah. Are you talking about Progressive Minds?
Probably. I don't know.
That was the group me and my brother were in together.
Yeah.
What you're talking about?
I just remember it being dope. I can't remember the actual like.
Cheers, man.
Yeah. That's cool as fuck.
So that was the first crew we were in. It was like me, my brother, and our friend Barry Spinks who made beats, and it was Progressive Minds, which is interesting now because I look at, you know, what progressive means now is so political.
Mm-hmm.
And to think now, if you had a group called Progressive Minds, that it would immediately sort of go under a specific political ideology.
Yeah.
And at the time, Progressive Minds, it just meant like we were being progressive on what we thought was, you know, rap music. We were trying to make something a bit different, you know, and that's all it really meant. It didn't really mean much more than that. That, yeah, we just, you know, we're eating fruit on stage and thought we were funny.
Yeah, well, the same thing with anything that's labeled alternative, in a sense, is actually put in the same boat, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, progressive has got the whole left wing, I mean, American left wing, really, attached to it, and so is alternative, and it's, why can't music just be fucking music?
Yeah, I mean, you know, because you might walk into a club that didn't tell you what it was and it's all trap.
Good point. Progressive trap. Ooh.
Yeah, progressive trap. So
at least it's not conservative trap.
Yeah. Fair.
I'm trying to even think what they even sound like, but I can't imagine it'd be very good.
That would be interesting.
Start a movement, see what happens, plant the seed.
Yeah. Conservative trap. I'm sure it's out there somewhere.
So have you been, like, I know you've got the EP and that sort of stuff, the A and B, but have you been using this whole thing as a writing process as well, apart from teaching yourself how to like make beats?
This whole thing being COVID and being locked away.
Yeah, this whole bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of funny for me because I've worked from home for 6 years and I always write all the time. I've been doing a lot of writing, but honestly, it hasn't really changed much on the amount that I'm writing. I just don't see my friends much. That's really the only thing
It's the
that's
hard
changed.
thing,
But
yeah.
in the way of how much I write, nah, I was already writing a lot. We've made it. We shot a video clip while we're in lockdown,
Mm.
and we're going to shoot two more of them once we get out. And then, yeah, I'd say it's more just been prepping. You know what I mean? I've been recording these two projects for like 2 years, and I was sort of recording them as one, and then decided, oh, you know, I might split it in half and make it two. And yeah, so a lot of it's been more just prepping and scratching. Scratching is the funnest instrument ever. I've been having a great time doing that. I'm hopefully going to get good enough to be able to like perform it at some point with Liquid. I mean, Liquid will always shred me, but it'll be fun to have some kind of a back and forth on stage with him one day.
So you like what kind of like stuff you like scratching on there? Because everyone's really particular with what style of music they prefer to use
To scratch to or to scratch?
to scratch.
At the moment, I'm just going through. A bunch of my friends have sent me a heap of samples, but they're all just the classics. So like, oh yeah, and yeah, boy. You know? So it's just, but you sort of, yeah, and then and it depends. So sometimes it's like shh, and it's just a sound,
Yeah.
and then sometimes someone's saying something like a phrase, and then depending on what it is, you'll sort of scratch it differently, and you might have to let it go a bit differently. So I definitely like the classics though, like yeah, boy. It's like you can. It makes sense why they're the classics because they're so fun to scratch and like the tone that they hit. Even if, because once you really start scratching it, you don't even know what they're saying anymore. It's just a sound.
Yeah, it
And
becomes another instrument, really.
yeah, it really does. It's fucking awesome. It's such a fun hobby.
Even the old school like Rasta sort of sound grabs too are pretty epic to use.
Yeah, they would be really good. Any type of patois and like, yeah, Rasta sound bites would be fucking. I should look some of those up actually.
Dude, man, do it.
Yeah,
Have you? Would
for
you?
sure.
Would you like start mucking around with effects pedals with your turntable as well?
Maybe I'm so at the beginning line right now. Like I've been doing it for like a month, and I'm good. I get a bit of a rhythm going, but I'm so far from anything else. It's yeah. So we'll see. But I mean, effects pedals would be really cool. I've got effects on the mixer I've got because it's a
Yeah.
battle mixer, so it's got a bunch of delay and all sorts of looping things that you can do with it. Yeah. So eventually, yeah, maybe.
Because I know Lethal from Limp Bizkit, that was one of his main points was with his turntabling. He made it like a proper legit instrument, like an extra guitar at times. So he actually had
Right.
effects pedal board. We had distortion on it and extra delay,
Yeah.
phaser, fucking all sorts of
Yeah.
wicked shit. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. Liquid's got he's got a turntable where he can put a MIDI keyboard with it,
Oh, yeah.
so he can have a guitar tone, and then every time he hits a key on the MIDI keyboard, it switches the pitch of the turntable, so he can actually play like guitars on his turntable, just
What?
chopping between keys. Yeah, yeah, turntablism, like it's crazy because it's expanded so much on a level of like people's physical ability, but it's also expanded so much on a technology.
Mm.
It's just like they don't even use needles anymore. Like, I mean, a lot of people do, but you don't have to. You can get this like Bluetooth infrared thing, I guess, and you stick it on the turntable, it spins with it. So, and then that sends the signal back to Serato in your computer for your scratching.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I've never heard this in my life.
Yeah, those guys, the English crew that I was telling you about, Too Many Teas,
Yeah.
they were on tour and they had this video where they rocked up and there was no turntable for them to play, but their DJ uses one of these things. So they got a cardboard box, put it on the box, and then he did his whole DJ set with a mixer and a cardboard box, scratching his record on the cardboard box.
I can't even fucking fathom that.
Crazy. I'll send you a video of it later of like an advertisement for it where they show people using it. It's so cool. It just means, and it means there's no skipping. So say like Liquid's beat juggling, which is really sensitive. Like whenever we perform together, when we're doing sound check, I walk around the stage and jump up and down, and we check if I'm going to skip the record. Okay, I can jump here. I can't jump here because, when we first played together, I'd jump near him, record would skip, and like the show would be thrown off. But with these things, I could literally be on the desk, jumping up and down on the same desk as him, and it wouldn't skip the record. He could just keep beat juggling and scratching and doing anything. It just doesn't affect anything.
So we're sitting in 2020 and those people are living in fucking 3030, man. Holy
It's
shit.
fucking nuts, dude. It's
Dude,
so crazy.
I've never heard of that in my life. I gotta fucking, yeah, send me that video. I want to have a look at this shit.
I'll send you a video. I only know about it because I'm friends with Liquid, and he's just huge up on it. You know, he does videos for Rain and I think Shore, and anyway, he does a bunch of demo videos. So they send him free equipment, and then he he does like displays with them to sort of show how the equipment works. So I'm constantly hearing about these new piece of technology.
Fucking hell! All right.
Yeah.
Got me going down that rabbit. Oh yeah, cool. I'm gonna be doing that. Nah. I'll stick to bass, dude. I think it's
fair. You're very good at it.
Why, thank you, sir. One thing I wanted to ask you, because I don't really know that many people in the hip hop industry, to be honest with you. Where are you seeing the Australian scene actually going from here? I mean, I know that we do get heavily influenced by what's happening in America, which I know. I was listening to Tribe Called Quest the other day because I fucking love. That's one of the hip hop groups I actually will listen to, and I actually fucking love like early shit like that. I mean, Can I Kick It? Still fucking killer song.
Such a good song.
Oh,
it's one of the best songs of all time. So
I just miss those funk, like the actual proper funk beats in hip hop.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is like I know that like SoundCloud rap and all that kind of crap basically had a big influence on hip hop. But I would like to see a renaissance or a resurgence, I guess, of old funk beats brought back and substance and style. Like that's why one of the things I actually really love about your shit is that you're not rapping it like. I haven't even listened to that fucking WAP song, man, because I just refuse to give it acknowledgement. I don't fucking care about it. I don't want to know about it. But your stuff, you've got messages to say. You're not sitting there talking about fucking some AK-47 and how much bling you got. I don't give a shit about that. And it's one of the things I like about even old school like Hilltop or Bliss and Esso. Same sort of shit, man. So I guess what you're saying is that will we see that kind of stuff come back into trend?
I think the thing about it is it really just depends where you're looking, because in the popular sphere, I feel a lot of the time when people see culture shift, they're just seeing it shift through what's most popular.
What's filtered.
Whereas like for someone like me, for example, like because I listen to so much rap music, I'm really seeing it on multiple tiers. So say if you look at WAP or WAP or whatever it's called, that's like the top of the chart. But then say like my mates Duo Jewel, who are like some friends of mine who nobody knows about at all, but they're amazing. That's like that's like the bottom rung of like visibility of like what people are looking at.
Yeah.
And in between, there's millions of artists. So if we're talking, will there ever be a renaissance of like songs like Tribe Called Quest being as famous as WAP or whatever that song is?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I don't know. Like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole have been around recently, and they are like some of the best hip hop that I've ever heard in my life. Like
Anderson
they're
.Paak
so
as well.
talented. Anderson .Paak,
Yeah,
exactly. And like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are really big. I mean, I'm wondering if they're as big as that WAP song. They're not far off it, and I think they've got more longevity. Have you listened to much J. Cole or Kendrick?
Kendrick, yes. J. Cole, no.
Yeah, so J. Cole and Kendrick kind of like, I'd say similar field in the way of just very intelligent. J. Cole's got one up in that he produces all his own music as well. So when you listen to it, is like he's an incredible producer. But J. Cole, for example, he wrote a song that got really famous. It was like this story song, and it's basically a story of him losing his virginity, and it's like a really innocent story of him faking it with this girl, acting like he knows what's up, but he's actually a virgin, and he's really nervous about it. And then they eventually meet, and then they realize, oh, they're both virgins, and it's this kind of really innocent story. And the video clip is just puppy dogs playing with each other.
Good spin.
So it's just like, you got someone like that, but then he also makes some really tough music, you know, some really, really tough, really political music. You know, there was at one point all the SoundCloud rappers were going at him. And instead of writing a diss track back, he wrote an entire song that was him giving them advice from like an older, you know, from someone in their 30s to these young kids going like, I get it where you're coming from. You know, I used to be like that as well. And he's kind of poking fun at them, but he's really just like laying down a bit of knowledge.
Yeah.
And then there was a podcast called No Jumper, which is a podcast in Hollywood, and it's kind of an epicenter of the culture at the time. It's run by this guy Adam 22, and that's where they were all like all the SoundCloud rappers. They're on the podcast. They're going fuck J. Cole, fuck this guy. They're just trolling, like just talking shit. So J. Cole, instead of like same thing, no aggression, he went to the shop where they do the podcast. He didn't confront anybody. He just went there and just looked around. And Adam 22 is like, what the fuck? J. Cole's in my store? And he's like freaking out. And he comes out and they end up chatting. And afterwards, Adam 22 was like, I'm probably not going to make fun of people I don't know anymore because we were all shitting on J. Cole. And he was actually like the realest dude ever. He rocked up. He's a superstar. He just rocked up at my store on his own and just talked to me about life and philosophy and shit. Anyway, so I'm getting a bit off subject, but that's like fine. The point being is that I think there is a lot of really, really good hip hop. And well, you know, I don't want to get into like what's good or bad because it really is opinion based, and I don't want to sound arrogant being like this is good or this is bad. But in the sense of like, say, something like WAP, where it really is like, I mean, it's a song, you know, it's a fun song. It's a fun, sexy song, and a lot of people hear it and they feel sexy and they feel fun, and it's naughty and it's, you know, I get it, it's cool. You know, it's cool. It's entertainment. You know what I mean? But then there's someone like Kendrick Lamar where he'll make like a back to front album that is completely conceptual about like a poem that Tupac once read in the 90s, and that like To Pimp a Butterfly and sort of what that means and its relevance in the modern time. Like, you know, it's so deep, and it's the kind of shit you have to listen to every song back to back to really understand the whole thing. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know. So I think it depends where you're looking, but it's a good idea to keep your ear out and keep your eye out and not be turned off by the music you don't like as a feeling of, oh, that's what's out now, just because that's most popular. Because I'll have to say, I'll send you a bunch of music. I'm sure I've got a bunch of music that's like similar to what you're into, that you'll be like, oh, this still exists. It's just maybe not as popular and not getting as big.
The same as the metal industry do, like the heavy sort of stuff too. A lot of the heavy stuff that comes out, I just sort of look at this go, it's samey, and then I'll find something that's just randomly popped up on Spotify because I listened to something from the 90s come through, and I went, fuck, that band's rad, and then I go find it, and yeah, cool, I'll become a fan of them because it's algorithm basically said I would like it, and I actually listened to it.
Yeah,
but you're right, it's because so much shit is out there, and the digital realm has made saturation point in music a thing. I mean, I don't know about you, but quite often I actually get bored with music, like whatever's coming out there, and I just have to stop listening, and I'll just go back listen to stuff I'm familiar with, and revisiting it and re-listening to it and going at a deeper level with it, and then maybe go listen to some new shit. But a lot of the new stuff sometimes just doesn't resonate. I don't know why. I can't explain it. The music's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's one of those things. At the end of the day, some people get the feeling from Justin Bieber that I get from Biggie Smalls. And who am I to tell them not to get that feeling where they get that feeling? You know what I mean? I mean, it's entertainment.
Ooh, Frozen. Boom.
To also the most deep thing ever, and everything in between, you know? So like that feeling of like how you feel about it at any time, you're right. It's complicated, you know, it's confusing, and all you can do is, I mean, we're all drug addicts. We're chasing that first cocaine hit and look like, I was thinking the other day, the ultimate drug, this is the drug of the future. If you could give this to me tonight, we're like, hey, what movie do we want to watch for the first time? Be like, fuck it, let's watch Shawshank Redemption. You don't remember it, and you get to listen to it for the first time.
I want that mind wipe, so you can listen to it over and over again without having to feel that.
That Tribe Called Quest in front of us, right?
Yep.
And we go, oh yeah, cool, we're going to listen to Tribe Called Quest, and we mind wipe, and then we listen to it, and we're like, oh shit, what is this? This is so crazy.
But you got to be careful of that, because sometimes there is music or movies that that resonate with you for a particular reason from watching it the first or listening to it for the first time.
Ah, yeah.
So you
Might
might
not
have,
like Star Wars now.
yeah. So you might not have actually liked a particular song when it first came out. I mean, I'm probably going to get rev for this, but I fucking hated Guns N' Roses when they first came out as a kid. I was listening to MC Hammer and that sort of shit when all my mates were listening to fucking Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, right.
And I couldn't stand it. But I'll listen to fucking Welcome to the Jungle and Paradise City now. I think they're fucking ripper songs. I'll really enjoy it. But if you mind wipe that, and yeah, I reckon I wouldn't like it because it's to give me time to grow on it.
That's true. I guess it depends what it is. Say like
stupid NBN freezing, man.
Sorry.
Right.
If you I'm apologizing for the internet. No, like Fight Club. Like if you wiped my brain and then we watched Fight Club for the first time again, like I'm gonna like it. So I guess I'd just be careful because there would be some stuff like, for example, if you wiped my brain and then showed me Star Wars, I'd probably enjoy it for the sake of like, you know, it was very innovative for the time and I'd find that interesting.
But you find it cheesy though?
The same way I do now, where it's like so. No, it's cheesy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think you'd find it more cheesy. Whereas now I find it cheesy, but at the same time, like it just brings back feelings of my childhood and I wouldn't want to wipe that.
Yeah.
Like that would be a shame to like lose all the feelings that it goes with it. You know, I wouldn't want to wipe the Goonies.
Fuck no, man.
Because I just lose every memory that I had of that. Whereas like, say a Kendrick Lamar album, for example, something more modern that I'm like, oh, that first time I listened to this and was just like, oh my God, this is mind blowing. Like,
I think Chili Peppers' Blood Sugar Sex Magic would be an album for me that I would actually just go boom straight away to, because I actually didn't when I first heard that.
Yeah, right.
And I reckon now that would actually be mind changing, like game changing for me if I listened to that for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you got to patent that shit, man. You got time.
Elon Musk has got the Neuralink.
Yeah, it's the Fitbit for the mind.
It'll be one of the apps that goes on the Neuralink. It'll be called Mind.
It's basically Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, but for fucking movies and music.
Yeah.
Instead of relationships.
But just for like small things. Yeah.
Don't wipe the relationship, brother. We've done 46 minutes.
Sweet, man.
Boom, like that. It's been awesome chatting to you, because it's been a while since, I think, was it the last time I saw you when Barefoot was down in Melbourne?
Yeah, it was. I always run into you guys in random places.
I know, that was so fucking random. You just skating along and like, hey, it's fucking Kudos.
Yeah. Super funny. Yeah, but I'm sure I'll see you again soon. I'm going to be trying to get back up there. I'm thinking about moving back to the coast for a little bit. Maybe at some point I was thinking about buying a house or something. So
why not?
I'm sure once everything opens up, I'll come visit for sure.
Shit's still happening up here, man. All right, we'll wrap this up. I'll have a chat to you after this. We'll do a debrief. But anyway, Ideas is out now. I will put in the link in the video description and sort of shit. And yeah,
sweet.
I love the song, dude. So, and I'm keen to hear this double the A and the B side, man. I'm keen to see this and hear it. And yeah, cool. Ladies and gentlemen,
cheers, dude.
Kudos.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, man.
Much love.
Really hope you enjoyed that one. I actually did. It was great catching up with Kudos. Yep, so link below. Go check out the song Ideas. It's great. I love it. If you have enjoyed this podcast and previous ones in the series and have yet to subscribe, please do. I'll do this thing every time. Like, press that button down there, subscribe, and ring the bell, and you'll be notified when more coming up. I've got quite a few actually booked in for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, you'll be notified once they go live. Thank you for supporting local music, live music, Australian music, all types of music. You guys are legends. Cheers.